Hey, this is Pastor Curry, pastor of the East Zion Fair Baptist Church, Wilmington's most exciting church, the church that love ya and anything you can do about it. Hey, I am excited today. We have Dr. Tony Allen, president of Delaware State University, who's going to be our guest. And I'm just thrilled that he took time out to come and chat with us as we look at the various aspects of his life. He has been a great shining star for Delaware and for all of those African-American brothers as well as sisters. And today we're going to get an opportunity to talk to him. So I want you to call somebody real quick, share with them that Coffee with Curry is on, and let's get after it.
Congratulations, Dr. Allen!
Everybody say now. More than ever. All the brothers and sisters must come together. Everyone, everywhere must feel the time is in the air. Now, more than ever. All the brothers and sisters must come together. Now say this one loud. Say Ashe. That's Swahili for it's already done. My friends, it's already done. Let's go get it. God bless you.
And we're back. Well, it is a joy, as I share with you, to have Dr. Allen, to have you with us today. I'm just excited to have you grace us today. You're doing such a great job. It seems like everything you touch turns to gold. Before we get started with the interview of some of the accomplishments that you have accomplished, I want to just start off talking a little bit about Tony Allen, just, his formation. Tell me a little bit about where you were reared and how things were and how you got to almost to where you are today.
Well, Pastor, let me first say I'm really pleased to be here.
Thank you.
Big fan of yours. I'm glad you invited me. Would come in a moment's notice, so thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm a Newcastle boy. I was born in Newark, New Jersey, really as a result of my mother was a teenage mom. They all lived in Jacksonville, Florida. And back in that day, you actually couldn't go to high school, a public high school in Florida and be pregnant. So she moved up to Newark with her sister, had me. We went back to Jacksonville. My biological father's been out of our life for a long time, but she met a man who raised me, a guy named Lamar Allen, who lived across the street from her mother's house.
Okay.
And in 1973, we moved to Delaware. And what's great about that for me is I know they both moved so that they could create better opportunities for their son. So I got it honestly. My father, who raised me, Lamar Allen, didn't have an 11th grade education.
Oh, wow.
So it was really an opportunity for us to see what the opportunities were for us. And it was clear that they thought that education was going to be the key. They had no feeling of how to do it, who to connect to, but they knew education would be the key. So they held me to a high standard. And as I went through life, one of the defining moments in my life was a principal at my middle school said, I think you have something. And he connected me with this program called the Forum to Advance Minorities in Engineering, FAME. And FAME changed my life because it brought me in contact with young people who looked like me. Were doing many of the things that I wanted to do and aspired to do, and created the connections that my mother and father really didn't have. So from there, it really created an interesting opportunity for me to go to undergrad on a full scholarship. develop new relationships, and still be grounded in the community I was from. I'm from Newcastle. I went to William Penn, so I'm very grounded in all of that life. This neighborhood is one of those neighborhoods I used to frequent. So I'm pretty proud of both my parents for trying to find something without resources and recognizing that the only two things would matter, right? Their heart and God.
Amen. 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 That's awesome. And as I'm listening to you, you didn't have it easy, but your parents gave you a standard, which was excellent.
Particularly my mother.
Yes, yes.
Particularly my mother.
And we just celebrated Women Histories Month here, and I've been elevating the women because they have always been the backbone of our community.
There's no question about it. About it.
Tell me a little bit about the family. Tony Allen has done very well with being reared, first generation college grad. Let's talk about the children and the wife too.
What's interesting about that is I've been very open about this. I've had good, solid blessings professionally, but I haven't concentrated as much in my personal life over I'd say half of my professional life. And as you know, if you don't do that, things suffer. So I love my children. I have 4 children. I've been married a couple of times actually. But through it all, I've learned what's really important. So now in the way that I would pour all of my soul into my professional life, I know that that's not quite the answer. You have to have that balance. And I think God has created opportunities for me to learn those lessons. So I feel much better about it today. I got 4 great children. I told you 27, 13, Jesus Lord, 11 and 8. And they are terrific. And interestingly enough, I'm now engaged actually to my high school sweetheart.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So I took her to homecoming in 1988.
Oh, wow.
And then we didn't see each other for 30 years. Got reconnected, and now we're soon to be married.
See, that's always so phenomenal. You did a nice circle, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the transparency too, because all too often people don't know the story behind the success. There have been some failures, but for the most part, you are a true success because you always rebound. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think we always do. And I was raised in the church. So many people talk to me about my trajectory professionally and how it's going from business to the nonprofit sector to education, all those kinds of things. And when I think about that, I think about the lessons in that were not the successes in those areas, but how I could be a better man. So I'm really focused and sort of in the second half of my life on how to be a better man, how to be connected spiritually to things that I think are important. And then how you make those connections from being a better man, a husband, a father, to what you do professionally, which I think actually makes me better at my job.
Excellent. We at one point, I think in your career, you worked with President Biden as a speechwriter or something. Tell me a little bit about that.
It was a good experience. I had gone to grad school in Baruch in Manhattan. I came back home, knew I wanted to come back home, and knew I wanted to go get my PhD. So a friend of mine actually hooked me up with then Senator Biden, and he said, I need a speechwriter. And back then, he was a prolific extemporaneous speaker.
Yes.
Did not need notes.
Yeah.
So he paid me $16,000.
Oh, wow.
Let me go to school full time, though.
Okay.
And I wrote many speeches, letters, etc. And I remember all the time when I'd provide a speech for him, he would read it in the car, and ultimately he would get on stage, put his notes away, and then say what he wanted to say. So I always said if people said it was a good speech, I would always brag and say, I'm the speechwriter. If it was a bad speech, I would say, he doesn't read speeches. But they were usually quite good. He is quite the orator.
Yeah, I often wonder how it is. I got a chance to meet President Biden since I've been here. I've not been here that long. I've only been here 20 years with my time at Delaware State as well. But as a person, how is he? I didn't get up close, but as a person, how was he?
No, it's funny. He's the same as you see him.
Okay.
He is really frank, deeply passionate, really based on what I feel are his roots. I mean, he really, when he talks about Scranton, he he is living a life that he wants to be acceptable, not only to his parents but to his faith.
Okay.
And has done that throughout his life. I've been on trips with him. Really important things happening. We get off the plane or get out of the car. We see his grandkids. It's over.
Wow.
I mean, immediately over. He is wrapped in his family, and as you know, he suffered through some great tragedies, which I think has made his empathy for people that much more significant, particularly in a time like this. I have had the chance to be very, very good friends with Beau Biden, who passed away, as you know, and I think about how much he poured into all of his children and what they poured back. And there were some very, very sentimental moments he's talked about as Beau was going through his struggles, and how Beau was encouraging his father, which I think is in many respects one of the reasons he's president today.
I believe that. Yeah, and when you said that you have gone through some tragedies, from his wife, and then his son, as he say, his soul almost, because Beau was really close to him, and we were grateful. We're just grateful that he's there, and I'm grateful that you had some part in some of the trajectory of his thoughts. When you were writing speeches for him, so that was just great.
Well, it's funny, Pastor. I gave him. When I left, I actually gave him a present from the senator's office, and it was Race Matters by Cornel West.
Okay, yeah.
And that book still sits on his shelf today, and that was 1998, 99.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Excellent. Now, before I go to the break, the Urban League. Let's talk a little bit about that, because two powerful people were right there, and I know you being one of the two, but let's just talk a little bit about the Urban League and how it came about and where it is today.
Well, the president had a lot to do with that. My last assignment was to take Jim Gilliam, who ultimately was the founder of the Urban League here in Wilmington, and his wife to D.C. to meet then Senator Biden. They were having dinner. And we went by train. So back in the day, there was no Acela. So it was 2 hours down and 2 hours back. Yeah. Just me, Louise Gilliam, and Jim Gilliam. And I could tell at that time, because he was always kind of looking for young black talent, that was a little bit of an interview. Who are you? What do you believe in? What do you want in your life? How do you think about community? By the time we got back from the dinner, he had asked me to help him start the Urban League.
Yeah.
And I can tell you it was a fascinating opportunity for me, because this is a legend, as you know. His import across the country and in Delaware is second to none. And I got to become his best friend, and that meant a lot to me. So when we started the Urban League together, we only had really two thoughts. One, we as a people need to control our own black agenda. And as I said many times during that time, is we can step into that place because there's a void. Nobody is presenting a black agenda, so let's present one. And then two, let's try to put up people, institutions, and resources that are our own, that are going in a different trajectory. So when I think about the Urban League today, I think about the many young professionals that have gone through the Urban League. I think about the economic development, educational policy that we helped facilitate at the time. And I even think about young Eugene Young, who is running the Urban League now, but in many respects lost the mayoral election, but changed the face of Delaware politics in doing it. And I know Jim would be proud. So I'm really pleased to have had that experience, both personally, because Jim taught me a lot of lessons about personal life and being a better man, but also professionally, how to be in the room and step into your power when you're in the room. Wow.
You have taken, we're ready to go to a break, but you have taken what God has given you, the talents, the gifts, and you have really been rooted in your community. You would think, if a person didn't know you, you would think that you're a much older person than you are, because with the time that you have been living, but the energy and the resources that you put in to bettering your community is remarkable. It really is.
Well, Pastor, I thank you for that, because I think about 1 Corinthians 15:10, but by the grace of God, and it really is God's grace. I told you my dad never finished the 11th grade. Mom was a teenage mom. My biological father is still on drugs. So I think even with the respect to my personal life, I felt for many years I was running away from my biological father. We were running in opposite directions. But if you don't take care of yourself and stop to think why he is your father and what that means, at least my experience is, you're not running away, you're actually running in a circle.
Yeah.
And you don't want to find, you're going to find yourself whether you like it or not, and then you're going to have to deal. And I've had those experiences that I'm going to have to deal. It can't just be about what I'm doing for my community or the awards I'm receiving or the accolades I'm receiving. It really has to be about the whole of self. And as I have continued to grow in that, because I certainly am not finished, as I continue to grow in that, I think I've become better as a result.
Excellent. Listen, we're going to come right back. We want to talk about the corporate, then transition to the college, or shall I say stage, because he's done phenomenal things with Bank of America, leaving there, going into Delaware State, doing a phenomenal job. I'm excited about what's happening. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Delaware State University, or otherwise known as Hornet Territory.
Not only are we the only HBCU in the first state, we're also the most diverse contemporary HBCU in the country.
My name is Kaylin Pride, a senior majoring in mass communications with a concentration in digital media.
And I am Corbin Weatherspoon, a senior majoring in engineering physics with a minor in mathematics.
We're here to give you a quick tour so that you know what's in store. DSU cares about its students and helping them achieve both their academic and professional goals.
Whether it be engineering, mass communications, aviation, computer science, or business, but to be honest, there's too many to mention. All I can say is Delaware State is dedicated to your success.
The university offers tons of opportunities such as career advisement, internships at Fortune 500 companies, study abroad with its international partners, academic support, and even direct access to groundbreaking research.
Now let's take you to where it all began.
Lockerman Hall.
DSU got its start as a land-grant institution, known as the State College for Colored Students. In 129 years, DSU has become the most diverse, contemporary HBCU in the country, offering 44 undergraduate majors, 18 graduate degrees, and 5 doctoral degrees through its 4 colleges.
Now, let's check out a few of the things that make each college unique. In the College of Business, students can receive hands-on trading room experience with real-time financial data while studying management or working toward an MBA degree. DSU's aviation program takes flight through our own fleet of over 15 aircraft and experienced and dedicated instructor staff and a state-of-the-art flight simulator. DSU is simply the best flight education opportunity on the East Coast of the United States.
Or maybe you have dreams of becoming the next big recording artist, commentator, or host like my co-host.
The College of Humanities, Education, and Social Sciences
Offers a state-of-the-art music technology lab and recording studio to help you get started. We also have an incredible television broadcasting studio for students to find their place either in front or behind the camera. Also, our amazing applied research, neuroscience, physics, and so much more. And if that's not enough, we also love to brag on our top-notch honors program that empowers exceptional students.
DSU offers what you need to be successful, with incredible colleges programs such as the College of Agriculture, Science, and Technology,
the College of Humanities, Education, and Social Sciences,
the College of Business, and the College of Health and Behavioral Sciences.
And when you're not in a classroom, there are plenty of places on campus to experience college life. You can catch up with your study group in the William C. Jason Library, or just get fit in our Wellness and Recreation Center. The Wellness Center is 54,000 square feet of pure awesome. It has 2 full-size basketball courts, an indoor track, 2 large weight room areas, and a swimming pool. And just across from the Wellness Center is the center of student life here on campus, the Martin Luther King Jr. Student Center, or as we students like to call it, the MLK. It is a great place to socialize with your friends, hang out in the games and activities room, and even some snacks and DSU gear from the campus bookstore. It's also the #1 spot to participate in a number of student organizations and activities.
When it comes to the DSU culture, one of the first things that comes to mind is homecoming. During homecoming, the campus is not only flooded with students, but also alums too. The week is jam-packed with so many events and activities, from step show competitions, tailgating parties held by Greek organizations, to even the annual homecoming concert featuring the hottest artists. This week is truly the celebration of the year. Here at DSU, we believe in tradition and good vibes. Our swarm of more than 300 student athletes passionately compete in 18 NCAA Division I sports and have proudly earned MEAC championship titles, regional and national titles, and all academic honors,
which we love to display. Visit us online at www.desu.edu/admissions and schedule your personal tour at desu.edu/tour.
We hope you will join our DSU family.
And we're back. Well, it has been a joy talking. We've already had an opportunity to talk about some of the personal life and what got him to where he is today, and I'm just excited about that. But we're going to try to turn it a little bit because, again, I opened up the show sharing how it seems like everything he touched turns to gold. He was able to be transparent and share some things with us that I was very grateful for, because it's going to cause all of us to do an internal look at ourselves to make sure that we too are doing the things that we need to be doing to reconnect and not run away from, but face, square up those things that we need to. So today we want to now move a little bit and just talk a little bit about the corporate world. And now you're at Delaware State, but let's talk about the corporate world first. How did you get to Bank of America?
It's very funny. So Jim Gilliam.
Oh, wow.
Running there. I'm running the Urban League. He's my boss. He's the chairman of the board. And Charlie Cawley is on our board. Okay. Charlie Cawley's the founder of MBNA. Mm-hmm. And I was getting itchy for politics. And I knew that if I was going to run for politics, I should probably try to make some money first.
Okay.
Do a couple of years, make some honest money, then go do politics. So and actually Jim Jr., Jim Gilliam's son, another incredible man, had passed away. And Jim Sr. and I had gotten very close, and I also thought it'd be better if we didn't have that professional, formal working relationship too. So it was a combination of things. In any event, I actually interviewed in Jersey at Educational Testing Service and got a job offer. Told Captain, I used to call him Captain, told Captain about it. And he immediately went to work because in his mind, he said, you're not leaving Delaware. So literally a weekend, he had talked to Charlie Cawley. That next weekend, I got a job offer that I couldn't refuse from MBNA. And started there and actually had a really interesting rotation, so began to learn the business a bit. And a year and a half in, Bank of America came calling, they bought us. Wow. So all of a sudden, I went from this great legacy company to a company I don't know that's in Charlotte. Don't know if I'm going to even keep my job during these acquisitions. But Bruce Hammonds, another guy who was running the credit card business, said, I want you to come back and run communications for me. So I started running communications for our credit card business and began a career of communications and corporate reputation at Bank of America, which is pretty significant because the corporate reputation discipline was one that I created. I actually went to the executives at Bank of America after the financial crisis and said we need to spend time thinking about how we take all our assets for the betterment of the community. And I want to make it an analytical exercise. So we had some outside research partners, and the one question was, when will our customers and clients know we have changed? Okay. That was the one question. Okay. And the clients and customers came back with 3 answers. 1, do you do what you say you're going to do? Just from a customer service standpoint. Are you providing me the services I want? 2, are you doing more than your philanthropic commitment? So if you're a bank, Are you invested in black-owned and minority-owned businesses? All those kinds of things, right? And then 3, do you look like the customers and clients you serve up and down your company? It was fascinating.
Right.
And that kind of set the tone for how Bank of America really changed itself to be better connected. And it enabled me, along with Chip Rossi, who's the market president here, to do some really good things in Delaware. We gave away a building for the purposes of building kind of a campus of charter schools, continued to build capacity for programs we cared about. Particularly in the community, we brought Congressman John Lewis down with Senator Coons a couple of times. So it really kind of became an avocation for me. I spent a year under the bank's leadership and support working on the Wilmington Education Improvement Commission, and we wrote 2 books. So all of that stuff just kind of changed perspective for the bank, but also got me thinking about what I need to do next in life. Because clearly, and the staff used to kid with me, you're the only banker here that does no banking. So that's what got me thinking again about Delaware State High.
But how were you able to navigate the politics? I don't really want to say any racism right at this point, but just the politics. Being a city boy, raised, educated, but you really went up high in BNA as well as Bank of America. How were you able to navigate those politics?
You know, Pastor, it's you know it too because you have it. It's really about a certain level of expectation of yourself when you're in the room.
Okay.
You know, sometimes we're just happy to be in the room. But when we're just happy to be in the room and sitting there politely, the truth is we're not doing ourselves any favor, right? But more importantly, we're not doing those who want to come behind us any favor. And don't get me wrong, I sat in that room politely for years. I was at Bank of America for 15 years. I probably sat in those rooms for 5 to 7 years before I stepped into my power. And when I was able to do that, I learned a couple things. One, leaders want to win with friends. They don't, and I know you know this, you don't want yes people around you all the time. And you got to know that in the same way that I put on my pants one leg at a time, so do you. And as I got comfortable with that notion, and some of the executives many of the executives at Bank of America and MBNA taught me this, as I got comfortable with that, I was able to see them as on par, as myself as on par with them. And then I knew that I knew things that they didn't know. In the same way that they might know some things I didn't know, I knew things that they didn't know and could take the company in places that they might not have even thought were possible. So once you're able to step into your power, then all of a sudden, all the brothers and sisters at the bank, they would start coming to me.
Okay.
And they would ask questions. How do you do it? What happens? And there were a couple of things I would say. Sometimes I would say, sounds like you don't want to really be here, right? So let's try to figure out what your passion is and direct you in that way. Okay. And the second thing I would say is, well, if you want to be here, you got to be really good at the job that's in front of you. Don't keep looking for the door to open. Do really good at the jobs that's in front of you. Get as many partners and colleagues as you can as possible and do more work than you're required to do. And I saw a couple of things happen. I saw a lot of brothers and sisters get out of the company and start living in their passion in remarkable ways. And then I saw a lot of brothers and sisters advance. And that made me feel proud. Not that I had everything to do with it, but the fact that I was able to feel comfortable to have those conversations and open doors when I could made me feel good about what stepping in my power looks like, not for me, but for others.
Wow. And you know, you did, when I first came to Delaware, especially here in Wilmington, when I started working on different things, I was even a part of that Moyer project when they had closed Moyer down. But one of the things that the old governor at that time was Jack Markell says, have you had a conversation with Tony? And I was like, have a conversation with Tony, but the level of respect that you received from those who were in power always fascinated me, and I was always impressed with that, because out of nowhere we were at dinner one night and we were talking about some ways of trying to save the school, and he said, have you had a conversation with Tony? And I never really had talked to you, but it was after that I did, but it was shocking that the governor of the state would just simply say, have you had a talk with Tony?
Well, you know what I'd say though? People in power try to put people together who they know can do things together.
Yeah, okay.
So I think for Governor Markell, I'm sure he saw a lot in you. And you were one, because I remember word on the street was, he don't play.
Oh.
Right? So it wasn't, you were stepping into your power. And when you do that in majority communities, It sends some messages, not because you can scream or pound on the table, right? Because you can do this. You can create this kind of thing. I mean, what you've done here, I think, is remarkable, and people take note when that things happen.
Thank you so much. Well, you did well in the corporate. Some people would say you stepped down, but Dell State being one of the greatest HBCUs, second greatest HBCU.
What's the first?
Lincoln University, Pennsylvania.
I understand. Not Missouri. Not Missouri.
But Dell State land grant institution. I too had worked at Delaware State, and it's a great place. But people will say in the corporate world, he took a step back. How did that transition occur?
So I was chasing Delaware State for
Okay.
12 years. Back to my mother. Mother said to me long ago, "You're a teacher." Long ago, when I was a kid, she said, "You're a teacher." When I got to MBA in Bank of America, she asked me that entire time when I was leaving, because this is not what you're supposed to be doing. And I was made some good money, we're doing good things, could do good things for my mother, and she still was like, "When are you leaving?" So here's what happened. Interestingly enough, I applied for the job when Harry Williams got the job, so years ago. Became a finalist, didn't get the job. Harry got it, and Harry and I became friends.
Okay.
I thought, in the end, I thought he was the right person for it and wanted to support him the entire time. Fast forward 8 years later, I'm itching. I've done this corporate reputation thing, I've done this communications thing, I'm doing the Wilmington Education Improvement Commission, and I see Harry at an event and say, he knows my interests. I said, "Do you really think I could be an HBCU president now?" Here's what he says: "Tony, you will get in the finals of every HBCU presidency candidacy out there because you have a corporate background, but you're never going to get the job." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because they can check off that box." Because at the time it was like, maybe these schools need some business savvy, but they were just checking off a box. I said, "Well, what do I do?" He said, "Look, I'll be behind you with literally every place you apply, but I'm telling you what's going to happen." So I applied to some schools that made it to the finals, didn't get the jobs. Came back to Harry, had dinner right at the University and Wish Club. I said, "What do I do now?" He said, "You have to try to find the highest place you can do that's not the presidency, so they know you're serious."
Okay.
And then he said, "I got a job opening, provost." And he said, "You got to earn it. I can't just give it to you. You got to go through a process, et cetera. But if you earn it, I promise you, it will open up some doors that you had not thought possible." And I went through that process, was 3 years provost at Delaware State, which is really one of the best jobs I had ever had, because he was right. I was really learning everything: culture, experience, expectation, history. I was learning it all, and then applying some of my skills relative to business savvy and my academic credentials, right? So when the time came for me to really accept the presidency role, I was ready. But I would not have been ready if I just got the presidency job from corporate America. Wow. And yes, I took a pay cut. Yes, I heard from people as to what I was doing, but it was burning in me. And Jim Gilliam and a guy named Dave Sisko always used to say, "If you live in your passion, the rest will take care of itself."
Oh man, is that not true? That is so true. That is, matter of fact, that is beyond true. And I think I was sitting here listening to you when you were talking, because my mentor, we have a similar black background, and Dr. Nia Darkus, who was the first woman, she was the first woman
at woman. Absolutely.
And she used to say, I can't stand your guts. And I used to say to her, "Why do you say that to me?" She said, "Because you're so talented, but you got a big mouth. You need to do this, that, and the other." So I thought when I was going to graduate, I would be done, because I thought she didn't like me. When I was getting ready to graduate, she offered me a job at Lincoln. And she said, "You need to be sitting in this office." And she paid for me to get my master's.
Oh, you are kidding.
Yes, she did. And partially almost paid for all of my doctorate, because she saw something in me that I didn't see. And she said, "But you're going to have to navigate, leave Lincoln. You have to teach, you have to go to the historically white colleges too, in order for you to do that." And that's how Dr. DeLauder found me at higher education. So the point I was going to make is you have to be inside to understand the inside, because college, or shall I say the college politics is totally different.
That's right.
Than the corporate
That's right.
politics.
That's right.
And as a pastor, now I wanted to be a college president, but that's why I'm trying to build this little campus here, because I think now this is my real passion. This is what I'm really enjoying. And but it helped me as a pastor to know the politics of. 'Cause when I went to Dell State being a union school, HBCU, a state school, it was different than even Lincoln, the politics was strong, but you didn't have to deal with the union there. But being able to do that, the person who gave you that advice was totally true, because you were able to get in and see. But that's good to hear that you were really able to listen to. And let me say, Harry is a great guy.
Yeah, he is terrific.
Oh man, and I don't care what I
One of
told
my
him.
dearest friends.
I said
It's
I was joking with him though, but I said if ever you need me there, I'll be right there for you, because Harry was a good guy. I mean, whenever I would call, he would do, and that's why one of the $10,000 donations we gave to Delaware State was under him, because I knew that anything to keep him successful, I wanted it to happen, especially given some of the dark days that Del State had experienced. But anyway, let me just go back to this. But I really appreciate that you're helping me to see some things even today. We get ready to go to a break, but you at Del State now. What are some of your plans?
So, that's a great question. Here's my vision. I want Del State to be the most diverse contemporary HBCU in the nation. And normally I say substantively diverse, contemporary, and unapologetic HBCU in the nation.
Okay.
And when I talk about diversity, I am talking about race and ethnicity, but I am also talking about the recognition that we are a full-service, comprehensive research organization with a $140 million budget, a $27 million research portfolio. In 4 months, an opportunity to expand our footprint by acquiring Wesley College, and at our highest enrollment in 130-year history.
Go back to that Wesley College piece. I didn't know. Say that again.
We will acquire Wesley College on July 1.
Really?
We will. We've been working on it for about a year.
That's awesome.
But
I think y'all will be. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think this will be history.
Yes.
I don't think there's another black college that have acquired a majority college.
It is. It's the first. It is history.
Wow.
It's history. But I can tell you, that's not as much why we're doing it as much as it is. I think we are a 10,000 person university.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And I don't think that's all resident student population, but I think the combination of resident, online, international is going to make us into that, and we need a little bit more infrastructure. This gives us not only students, solid students, who in many ways look like us, because they have turned into a minority serving institution over the years.
Yes.
But 20 buildings in downtown Dover on 50 acres of land. So we're very excited about that prospect.
Man, everything you touch turned to gold. The favor of God. T.D. Jakes once said that favor ain't fair. This is his exact quote. And every time I'm around people who started out maybe not with the big gold spoon in their mouth, but they've done well, it just shows that favor is just not fair. This is awesome. You done got me excited, and we are live, so I don't want to be too excited. But that's
You
really
going
good.
to start the Q step?
No, I would love to do that, but being here with a Kappa, I don't want that to happen. You get embarrassed. I want to go to the commercial break, but I want to just say something about your pastor, and Pastor Beam and I are very, very close friends. And how long have you been a part of
Oh,
that?
gosh. It's been a long time.
Been a long-
15, 20 years, something like that.
Excellent. And I think that he has served us well. I had him on the show a couple months ago, and because he had done the prayer with Binded, and I wanted to bring him on just so he could be a part and to show that he is a true power player in this city.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're going to be right back, and when we come back, we're going to just close it up. But we want to talk a little bit, if I can, about the whole inauguration. And this brother has not only done some phenomenal job in the corporate world at Delaware State, and just blew my mind with one of the things that they're doing at Delaware State. And now he also did something with Joe Biden, and you don't want to go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I was born in Portsmouth, VA on July 1st, 1971. I'm a female rapper, singer, songwriter, producer, and actress. I've won 4 Grammy Awards in 2017. I was inducted to the Songwriters Hall of Fame. I was born in Houston, Texas, 1981. I'm an American singer, songwriter, dancer, producer, and actress. I was the lead singer of the all-girl R&B group. To show one of my most significant achievements were performing at the Super Bowl 50 halftime show to show my support for Black lives in African American colleges. Hi, I was born in Tuskegee, Alabama on February 14, 1913. I was an American activist in the Civil Rights Movement. I am best known for my pivotal role in the Montgomery bus boycott. By refusing to give up my seat, the United Congress has called me the First Lady of the Civil Rights and the Mother of the Freedom Movement. I was born in Tylertown, Mississippi on September the 8th, 1954. I am an African American civil rights activist. I was the first African American child to desegregate the all-white William Frank School in Louisiana during the New Orleans school desegregation. In 2014, a statue of me was unveiled in front of William Frank Elementary School. Thank you.
I was born in Philadelphia, PA on April 17, 1915. I was a jazz singer for more than 30 years. I was the best. I had a hard life, but I kept going. In 1950, I had a sold-out concert at Carnegie Hall.
Hi, my name is Michael Jackson. I was born in Gary, Indiana on August 29th, 1958. I was an American singer, songwriter, and performer. I started singing at the age of 5 as the lead vocalist of the Jackson 5 band. We will later be the most significant bands of our century. We will later have hits like ABC and I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. I will later have my solo career winning 13 Grammys and being named the King of Pop.
And we're back. Well, this has been an outstanding time with Dr. Allen, and I'm just so excited to be here with him today, and I hope that you are enjoying the time of our conversation. We're going to now turn it a little bit to something that happened over in January when he had the opportunity to serve as the lead person for the inauguration. So let's talk about that. How did it happen? What was some of the great things you did, especially during this pandemic?
You know, so I was serving on the transition team, the advisory council of the transition team, and got the call. And the call is, do you want to be the chief executive officer of the presidential inauguration? That's literally the title. Mm-hmm. And I said, I can't leave my job. They said, no, Tony, that's just what the title is. And I said, sure. And just started researching what that would mean, because I had no idea what that would mean. Yeah. And interestingly enough, as I accepted the opportunity, you get calls from everybody. I got a call from my second grade teacher, who I had not seen since the second grade, about tickets.
Oh, wow.
And then the seriousness of it was that we were in the throes of COVID. Mm-hmm. We made the decision that we couldn't do open ticketing. And we thought, once we had come to that conclusion, we opened our minds to what was possible. And when I say we, it was really a great team of many, many young people who were doing a fantastic job. We all thought we could celebrate more everyday Americans through this inaugural than ever before.
Okay.
Just because of what we have to do and what is available to us, what we've learned through COVID. So we went on, and then January 6th came. So we had a very robust, interesting, diverse set of programming set for you for January 20th. January 6th came. Many people say we shouldn't do it. And I remember being on a call and talking to the guys saying, we absolutely have to do this now. It became less of an honor and more of a patriotic duty after those folks stormed the Capitol. And I said, we will not let tyranny win the day. We just won't do it. And it got more grandiose for us. So we did a lot of virtual programming. We celebrated HBCUs an entire night.
I saw that. Yeah.
We spent time with the younger generation. As you saw, we did a COVID memorial. And one of the best moments of my life was the night before inaugural. We had set up literally about 500,000 flags, so American flags and state flags right along the Capitol, that we wanted the president to be able to see as soon as he approached the podium. It's a fantastic picture. And it said something to me about when you have the opportunity. There's an old saying that says, when a should becomes a must, human beings do extraordinary things. And those people that planned that with me, they were simply extraordinary. And I couldn't have been more proud of everything that happened on the day of the inaugural, including the fact that it was such a diverse slate of people that when Garth Brooks came up and sang Amazing Grace, you might remember, we were there and he asked us to sing along in that beautiful, beautiful place. And the spirit of America, I believe what was intended, what folks have bled and died for, you felt it that moment. And then Amanda Gorman, of course, and then Pastor Beeman. Pastor Beeman, I told him the way his voice rung out as he talked about everything that makes us a more perfect union, everything we should be striving for. It just won't ever be forgotten. So I couldn't have been more proud to do it at this time, in this moment, recognizing that 2 weeks earlier, people tried to break our democracy. And the fact that we weren't going to allow that to happen, I really think set the tone for a great man and a great woman who are now leading our country.
Yes. That's awesome. Well, I'm out of everything because you have really showed some young brother who's watching today, some mother, that their hard work will pay off. You have shown us that you are a true, I could say educator, I could say person. You're just great, and I appreciate you today.
Well, thank you, Pastor.
You do have one error.
One flaw?
Yeah, and I got to be honest because I'm a pastor. I can't let you be here and not share the truth. And there are many people who would agree with me that your biggest failure that you have not recouped from, you've recouped from some, is the fact that you decided to go into an organization called Kappa Alpha Psi, I think it is.
That's right.
What in the world, all of the success that you had, all of the wonderful things you've done in the world, how could you settle for such?
Are you kidding? That was one of the best decisions. 1911.
How much did they pay you?
1911.
How much did they pay you?
They didn't pay me a thing. They took a little bit. They took a little.
I'm sure they did. Now,
now look though, I have exceptional Omega men all around me too.
Oh, do you?
Of course, my head of strategic enrollment.
Okay.
Is a proud Omega man. My chief technology officer is a proud Omega man.
Wow.
So I get this every day.
But I'm shocked.
You're not shaking me today. I get this every day.
But I'm shocked that they're behind you. But what I will do is say you've made history again. I believe, and I could be wrong, but you made history because at Delaware State it was known if you're not an alpha, you don't become president.
That's true.
So you're the first Kappa to go in there and I guess and be a Kappa. but I appreciate you every day, and I just thank you so much for taking the time today to be with
Pastor.
us.
This was terrific.
And I just wish Delaware State well. I really do. And anything we can do as a church. And we're not going to stop sending our children to Delaware State and encouraging them to come to Delaware State. We're not going to stop the funding. Whenever we get around to the point where we can give you all those scholarships, we do $10,000 every year to a HBCU. And I appreciate you. And if you need us at any point, we are here. We're here to support you. You are a giant, and we thank you so much. Now, I'm going to let you have the last word to share anything you would like to share at this time.
The first thing I'd say is thank you. I for a couple of years during the Christmas holiday, would bring brothers who were about 10, 15 years younger than me to my home, and then brothers my age there, and we would just spend time talking. Nothing, very informal. And I did that because when I was their age, 10 or 15 years ago, I had Jim Gilliam, so I was good. But I know a lot of brothers did not. And we have such a circle when we're connected. Have such a circle when we're connected. That it's very important that we do that as much as possible. And I know we don't spend a lot of time together, but as soon as your office called, I knew I was coming here because I feel connected. And that connection strengthens me. So I told you when I came here just to see that building that you showed me 10, 15 years ago was land. Is now up and running and beautiful, and the church is fantastic, and then you are still the same you, which I think has been important, and a very, very important voice in Delaware. That matters to me. So I'm glad we're connected. I'm proud to be here, and I know that there's something bigger than us that is inspired, divinely inspired, that brings us together. So thank you for all you're doing and what I think we're going to do together.
Amen. Well, thank you so very much. And again, if you need us, we're here for you. And we're going to do everything we can to make you proud so that while you're serving us there, and I hope and trust that Delaware State continue to make the great decisions that they've been making. And when your time is up and you get to be renewed, I hope that it will give you back another chance, because I do believe that you are indicative of a trendsetter, trailblazer, and torch setter. So you are the man. Tony Allen, to all of you, thank God for Brother Tony Allen. So I just want to thank him. He's inspired me today. He's helped me today. And I'm glad to know that we have people who won't just take from our community, but who will give back. So we thank you so very much. So we'll be right back.
Delaware State University's flight program offers opportunities and support to students from a variety of backgrounds. The University Flight Program has a long history. Delaware State trained black pilots for World War II at this airport before the military consolidated training in Tuskegee, Alabama.
And all of those flight training students, and they all went down there and they became what's known today as the Tuskegee Airmen. And we have students from our small college who were part of that original group of Tuskegee Airmen. And so we celebrate that by painting our aircraft tails red.
And the university builds on that long legacy to provide opportunities to its students today. Many of the students here are first-generation college students and don't have any family in the aviation industry. Madonna Dan is one of these students. As a freshman, she has big dreams for the future.
I actually want to be in the Coast Guard doing mission rescues.
As a kid, Madonna watched military airplanes fly over her house, and she decided that one day she wanted to fly one of those airplanes, not just look up at them.
You can do anything you put your mind into, so I can be the first person from around where I live to be a pilot, and I want to be the first.
And Delaware State is helping her on her journey.
Everybody is supportive. Everybody is here when you need them. They always lend a hand if you need something, and they're always here for advice. So they definitely make it feel like home.
Alumni are also an important part of the support system at Delaware State. Graduate Abdul Kalajaya now flies for Republic Airlines. He comes back to give the same support he received as a student.
The family atmosphere is top. Everybody's here to help you, which I really enjoyed and I love. And that's why I'm coming back to help to pay it forward.
For the alumni and staff, all of the hard work of mentoring the next generation of pilots is worth it to see students succeed.
I'm hoping that they're going to be the first of many in their generations to come to enjoy aviation, get a chance to fly, and fill up the ranks of corporate and regional and major airlines.
The focus on mentorship is working. The University Aviation program is growing rapidly.
I have the largest freshman class that we've ever had in this aviation program, started this fall.
And so, for these students in Delaware, the future is looking bright. Julie Walker, AOPA Live.
I hope and trust that you had an opportunity to hear the interview that we just had. I'm still a little mesmerized with the success and the true realism of our brother, Dr. Tony Allen, who is currently serving as the president of Delaware State University. It is a joy, it is a privilege to see that Delaware still produces the most fine people across the country. For him to have served the President of the United States, to him to have been mentored through many different dispensations of his life is just wonderful. So I hope and trust that it was a great show for you today, and I pray that God will continue to bless you. I want to remind all of you to please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Make sure that you are subscribing. Make sure that you are, putting the chair up for us so that we can continue to provide you with the quality programming that we so desire. This is your show. If there's something that we can do better, let us know, because we want to make sure we're giving you the very best. Excellence is our only way of life, and we want to make sure that we're always matriculating in it. Until the next time. See you.
From open house to acceptance, new student orientation, and picking the program that's just for you, it matters. From scholarships to meeting with advisors and making new friends, and all of the campus life and activities, it matters. With continued one-on-one support, student success planning, internships to graduation, and landing your dream job in your career field, it matters. Because at Delaware State University, it all matters.